Hi, this is your host Shubham Tiwari, and I welcome you to Industry Talk, a show brought to you by Wondersley Technologies, where we speak with industry experts in order to gain some insights and learn from their experience. Our today's guest is Dr. Ankita Singh, Senior Vice President and Global Head of HR, IT, Travel and Admin at Signex Datamatics. She has over 22 years of experience, progressive experience, which is largely related to managing and leading various aspects of human resources. So let's get to know about human resources and Dr. Ankita Singh more in this episode. To welcome to Wonder Publish magazine, Dr. Singh.
Thank you so much. Extremely happy to be around. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
So as I just said in the introduction that you have over 22 years of experience in this field. So you started 22 years ago. Now, I mean, you're sitting in the hierarchy of, let's say the industry much higher. So what sort of changes, have you seen in yourself and this discipline over the years?
Sure. Thank you. I think the changes are countless, too many to quote, if at all, I start with. But one thing when we started, when I was doing my MBA, I thought that I definitely want to join HR as a function. But, to be there, you have to specialize in a particular stream and you have to be best at that function. You have to become an expert, and little later I realized that that's a myth. You definitely have to be good at something, but doesn't mean that you don't have to take care of other things. When you're part of the organization, you just can't be a great HR. You have to
Correct.
learn so many things. So that was one learning. Second, I would say, earlier I believe that everything is too scientific. When I say too scientific, means data based, number based, which can be proven in some or the other way. So there has to be a right answer to all the problems or all the questions, which little later I again realized that not everything is black and white. When you are in HR, when you're dealing with people, there is more of gray than black and white. So you really have to adapt. You have to be uh, in the moment instead of policy and process that we keep talking about. Couple of more things that I have realized, and practically it has changed the way I have worked, is more than business, it's about people. And you would agree that because of this pandemic, I think everybody said that, yeah, before business, we have to take care of our people. So
Yep.
we started talking about empathy. We started talking about personalized approach, understanding how unique the individual is and treating them in that particular manner. That is one thing that has influenced and changed, not because of pandemic, but obviously it was much before that. Then uh, last thing, or second last, I would say that we were always taught that there's work life balance. But I realized while I was working in last 22 years, I think I have missed on a lot of things. I have dropped something somewhere for sure. So you cannot be perfect, you cannot be great at everything that you're handling. It's not an easy task to balance things out. Probably you can give best of yourself in whatever you are engaged, but finding balance or finding perfection is definitely not possible. So these are few things which I have probably, I'd say, I have learned or I have changed or I have
Right.
accepted, just to ensure that things are more adaptable, feasible to the profile that I'm handling.
Right.
And it's really important to understand, accept, because when you are calm, composed, and you stay happy, you'll be able to do things around you in a much better way.
Correct. Absolutely correct. But what is it about, HRs? I mean, why employees are, very scared of them? We hear so many jokes, all kinds of, memes nowadays relating to HRs. So, I mean, are they the devil's advocate in the company or what?
I think it differs from organization to organization. It's we cannot and we should not generalize it. Somebody who was not very happy, I think, once said, "HR के पास काम ही कहाँ है?" And at the same time, काम काम है ही क्या? Not
Right.
कहाँ है, काम है ही क्या? HR करता ही क्या है? And at the same time, somebody from HR said that no matter how much I do, it's a thankless job. So they both have their own side. And the way HR works in any particular organization, the way they communicate, the way they connect, the kind of contribution they make to the entire organization, it will completely differ, right? It's also because of the culture of the company,
Yeah.
the head of HR, the leadership team of that particular company, and that will define the flow, that will define the HR of that organization. So if
Right.
somebody has experienced that, and if that individual is saying HR karta hi kya hai, probably in that organization HR is not doing what they're supposed to do. And somewhere where people are giving employee satisfaction rating as 4.5 or 4.8 out of 5, that
Yeah.
means whatever HR is there for as an enabler, they are able to justify it. So it's to conclude, I would say it cannot be generalized. It will differ from organization to organization,
Right.
individual to individual, and that's how the story will continue. These memes and these jokes are not going
Sure.
anywhere, I think, for generations to come.
It's all in the, I mean, I'm sure it's all in the right spirits. So,
Yeah.
you know, earlier said that you wanted to become, you know, you wanted to get into HR because there are various aspects to it. So if I say, you know, you're speaking with a very young person, let's say a 10th grader, who generally answers this question by, you know, saying that I want to become an engineer, or, you know, a doctor or something like that. So, or an IS officer. So how would you, you know, let's say convince them of taking to this industry?
So I think it's a very difficult but interesting question. Um, so I think I'll tell them, because most of the students at that age, they are into some sports or some committee, which is trying to do some or the other event for their school.
Yep.
And there'll always be a set guideline process policy, who all will be participating, when that event will happen, how we will do it, what we will be doing. So from ensuring that the purpose that has been defined for that particular activity is met, and ensuring that the players or the organizers or the viewers, so all the stakeholders or all the parties who are part of the entire thing, the bigger picture, they all get connected well. So if at all, instead of becoming a player or a organizer or viewer, if at all you want to become a person who connects all these dots and who helps in defining why, who, when, what, how, probably then HR is the department for you, because you don't own it completely, but at the same time you work with anybody and everybody, and some part of HR is part of each department. So in a way you get a more holistic role to play in the organization.
That's wonderful. Can you just, you know, elaborate more on that last sentence? Like some part of, you know, HR is there in every department. What
So
do you mean by that? Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of us would have heard that now HR is, a business HR person. Now, what do you mean by business HR? So when you talk about a person who is trying to get cross-trained, or who is trying to get trained in a future skill which is required, so that's definitely identified by a delivery person. But who will initiate, who will do that part, who will ensure that the process happens? I think that's HR. So you're part of delivery.
Yeah.
Now when you are talking about finance team, they would put the budget in place, but for what function, for which team, for people development, or if it's for employee engagement, or if it's for employee safety, whatever it is, but everything is linked to individual who is working in the organization, and that's what we call human resources.
Yeah.
And when we talk about human resources, HR will always find a small pocket to exist, to be a part of every strategy that is being defined or designed by the organization in any corner. So that's how, even though you're part of one function, but your presence is everywhere. And it's not that they have to pull you in, or somebody has to push you in.
Yeah.
You have to be part of it, just to ensure that the people that you're handling, the organization that you're handling, as I
Right.
use the statement, we connect the dots. So there are so many dots there. And if at all you have to connect it well, you have to be there, you have to reach that stage.
Do you have to be extrovert in order to be successful in HR?
So HR is a very wide term, so you talk about recruitment, you talk about L&D, you talk about HR operations, employee engagement. There are so many sub functions to HR. And a person will have to define, like earlier there was a myth that if at all you want to be in HR, you have to be a female, because female would perform better in HR. They are more strong, or they are more emotionally attached,
Yeah,
or understanding when it
less
comes to
confrontational. Yeah.
true
Yeah.
employee processes, which is not true. There are so
Okay.
many HR leaders who are males, and that has been proven wrong. So similarly, being outgoing, extrovert, introvert, I don't think it matters that much as far as you understand your profile and you are able to deliver. Obviously, there will be few characteristics which would be a mandate for one particular profile,
Yeah.
and that should be looked up at before you take up that particular role, but not necessarily, not for all these streams of HR, I would say.
Right. So, I mean, at this point, I would like to, combine two questions here. What are, some of the challenges that remain constant in your career? Also, what are some of the things that people still don't get about what your work, let's say, both inside in the industry and outside the industry?
So most challenging part as on today, I would say it's still people, because they are important, they are everything for any organization. But now when you talk about an individual, there is a generation gap. Then the environmental factors at their end, it's different. They are part of different teams, they are going through different processes, different projects, different stress level, their needs are different. A person with similar years of experience doing similar job will or may think differently. So even though you are dealing with set of people, but every individual is different, or rather I would say unique, and that still remains, at least to me in my HR profile. I think that's the most challenging aspect even now, that with every changing situation, with every changing day, you cannot define a new normal. No matter how new it is, probably it would be not applicable or not feasible for an individual, and you'll have to redefine the entire thing. And that's how it will remain, because you are dealing with people, you're not dealing with robots,
Right.
and that's how you keep changing. So that's the most difficult thing or challenging thing. With respect to market, I don't think, I feel that people have accepted that it's an integral part of the organization. What HR people do, that's very much needed, if at all it's done in the right manner. I think we as HR people, we have been talking too much about handling people, or about transactional processes like conducting appraisals on time, ensuring that the fun at work activities are happening. There are a lot of memes and jokes about HR managers fun at work. So all those things, because we have projected HR
Yeah.
in that particular way, we have never actually spoken about ROI that we bring back on
Yeah.
people, how we are contributing directly, indirectly to business. When we talk about future skill, when we talk about future hiring, when we talk about looking at the current team composition and working on it, cross training them, ensuring that tomorrow we don't release people, but we retain them in certain way, that it's
Yeah.
not negatively impacting the organization, but at the same time helping the employee as well. So all those things probably are not being projected in a way those should be, and that's why there is a gap. But if I compare where we were in terms of acceptance 5 to 10 years from now, it will be more better. But if I go back 10 years back, probably, yeah, we have already reached a level where people know, and they have started accepting that this is one of the core function, and that
That's
has to
wonderful.
be there to ensure smooth functioning of the organization.
That's wonderful. So now, coming to the more serious subjects or the challenges that you face, such as sexual harassment at workplace. I mean, in large corporations, people come from everywhere, every corner, every cultural, values they bring. So when such situations occur, how do you address it, and what measures? I mean, you talked about ROI, right? The numbers. So what measures have you implemented to prevent such things from happening?
Sure. So I think Act came in quite late, but we always had a very strong process and policy around safe place to work. And when we talk about POSH, obviously it covers only female employees. But we have always been very clear that we want to make a place which is safe for all the workers,
Everyone, correct.
all the employees. So not primarily female employees, and anybody, office boy, security guard, or any person who is visiting our office. It has to be a safe place. Even if anything is happening outside our organization, but it's managed by us, that comes under our responsibility. So we have been very clear, we have been very vocal about it. There are sessions which we organize, training, then awareness program. We have enough platform where people can anonymously talk about issues. We have very clearly shared and indicated since beginning that if there is a performance issue, you will get probably 8 chances. But if at all there is an issue which is related to sexual harassment or any kind of harassment for that matter, there will be no second chance in the company. So we are very, very particular. The government norms are followed, but more than that, I think in some corner or some section, some pocket, these things can happen. How you can do it, instead of HR or organization or senior management controlling or regulating it, you have to have internal teams which are part of the core team, the people who are working actually on the ground. So that has helped us, because they are the people who are the messengers. They are the people who are talking about it, that this is how we have to behave. Because when it comes directly from us, it's more like an order, but when they are talking about it, it becomes more participative. And so far we have not seen any resignation, or no case has ever come up. And we have been rated as one of the best companies for
Safest.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
That's good. You're following a bottom-up approach where people feed you the information instead of you telling them what to do.
True.
That's wonderful. So, I mean, again, turning to the very basics. What makes a good HR great?
I think HR great is again a very, very
Subjective. I know.
yeah,
But yes,
because
still.
for not, no matter how good I become, tomorrow somebody would find me something, in a place where he or she may think that Ankita didn't do right, because
Yeah.
maybe for the organization I'm doing something, and which is not as per his or her will. So that will always be a challenge. But uh, ethically, I would say HR should always remain authentic, neutral. Obviously, you're getting paid by the company, and you have to ensure that your work is not compromised by any of other factors. But at the same time, people should not get affected in a negative way. You should be taking care of the policies and processes, but obviously, people are important. So, as far as you are neutral, you are unbiased, you are authentic in your approach, I think you can take care of HR really well. And to be a great HR, the second point, and I think it's a very important point, we as HR person, we think that we are the owners of the policy. Whatever I have said is right, whatever my process says, that has to be done. There are situations, and we call it, these are the exceptional cases that we have considered. More than being vocal about how many exceptions you have considered, your policies should be that open, that you should be able to adapt as and when required, depending on the environmental needs or employee needs. And you should accept that you are just an enabler, instead of being the owner of your policies and practices, or the role that you are catering. These
Wonderful.
two aspects, when taken care, I think, yeah, it becomes
Wonderful.
much better.
So, I mean, I wanted to ask you about, the awards and recognition that you have, received so far over the 22 years. But I would, put a twist to that. I would ask you, I mean, when you are, let's say, recognizing an employee's, efforts, and you distribute awards within your company as well. So is there any, I mean, political angle, I mean, as they say, office politics to it? So how subjective, rather objective, an HR is while, giving those accolades?
Um, so because we are dealing with humans, and the person who is in charge of the process is again a human being who is a manager, it will be wrong to say that you can have 100% bias
True.
proof system in the place,
Yeah.
right? Now, what we do to ensure that at least it becomes better, if not best process. We have checkpoints. I mean, when we do it in our organization, obviously first level submission is by the manager himself or herself. The second level is cross functional, and the third level is by the management. And when we compare last 3 to 4 years of awards that we have covered, how that individual has performed, not just the internal recommendation by the manager, but how many client appreciation that individual has received, how
Okay.
that individual is otherwise in the organization with other functions. So there are a lot of factors that we go through. We assess that particular case on all those criteria, and then we decide. So I would not say that again the result is 100%, but I think around 75 to 80% is what we managed to receive.
That's wonderful, ma'am. So lastly, what legacy would you like to leave behind?
Too early to
So
say the
what
final.
lays ahead?
Yeah, but I think I would say just stay real, stay authentic, and value people, and definitely value your time, because obviously people, once they are gone, it's very difficult to get them back in the system, if at all. I talk about profession and in your personal life as well, and same as with time. We just tend to say that I am on it, or I'll very soon do it, but that soon will take much longer than assume. So
I'm sure.
invest really really well, and that's what I'm trying to follow, and would want everybody to do that.
I'm sure. Just one more question that came up in my mind. I mean, how your personal relationships are affected by that system that you have put in place at your office? Does it also systemizes your personal relationships, or how do you keep them fresh, let's say, for the lack of a better word?
With my colleagues, with my team members.
I mean, with your personal relations, because you are dealing with humans, so many humans at the office,
Yeah,
as well. So how do you keep your personal relations, let's say, fresh, for a lack of a better word, and not put a system there as well?
I think there has to be a system everywhere.
Okay. Even in
By
personal
default, yeah.
space. Okay.
Even in personal space, I believe that default doesn't work for long. You have to design things to ensure that they remain in place. The moment we start thinking that this will fall in place, probably the place itself is changing. So you have to really invest well. I mean, if at all I talk about my current team, for last 7 years, not a single team member has resigned.
Wow.
Forget about leaving the organization. There's not even a single resignation. Similarly, when I talk about my personal life, my friends, or my the connects, they are same for last 15 22 years. The friends that I had, they're still very much around, because I think it's not about the amount of time you invest, it's about the way you make them feel. And and that's why I said nothing by default will help. You have to design, you have to plan, you have to put a system in place, and I have that. I
That's a wonderful quote.
literally have time. When do I need to call my friends, or what time do we connect? At least in these many months we have to
Yeah.
meet once, and that
Yeah.
system is very much in place.
That's wonderful, Dr. Ankita Singh. Thank you so much for your time and giving us all these wonderful insights. I hope I didn't trouble you with all these questions.
No, very interesting questions, and I think you made me think a little harder, so I thoroughly enjoyed.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And thanks to our audience for sticking with us. I'll see you in the next episode. And please let us know what you think of this conversation in the comment box. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.